हाय गाइस, वेलकम टू एस बॉलीवुड। फिल्म द ग्रे मैन की प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस में रुसो ब्रदर्स और धनुष पहुंचे। आइए देखते हैं पूरी प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस।
National award winning Indian actor and a man who, from this point on, we shall refer to only as my sexy Tamil friend. Ladies and gentlemen, Dhanush. Thank you. Gentlemen, please have a seat. We're also joined by more friends from the media who are attending this press conference virtually. So I'll let the Russos and Dhanush say hello to them and then we'll kick off things.
Yep. Thanks for joining us virtually and here in person. Great to see you.
Yeah, it's great to be here. We just want to thank India, as always, for being such an incredible host. This is our third visit here, and it's always an amazing experience every time we come.
Lovely. You had a wonderful premiere last night?
Yes, we went to the premiere last night. Indian fans are so passionate about storytelling and about movies. It's so refreshing to be here and to feel that energy. And this man here has so many passionate fans that we've never seen anything quite like it.
He's a national treasure.
Yes, he is.
I agree.
Okay. Now, before we start this conversation, there are a few people who really wanted to be here but couldn't make it. So they sent a little message for all the Indian fans and, of course, to everyone seated here. Let's take a look at that. Familiar with each other's work before you met for the Grey Man between the Russos and Dhanush. Were you familiar with Dhanush's work? And Dhanush, were you familiar with theirs?
Of course, everybody knows them.
Yeah, and we actually became familiar with Dhanush's work as we were sort of developing The Gray Man. We do a lot of research in terms of what we can do with the action, what we're aspiring to do, and we have a wonderful creative team and a stunt performing team that we work with as we develop those ideas. And many people on that team would start to show us videos of Dhanush over time, and sort of as examples of really, really fascinating action and cool ideas to do. And as Joe and I kept watching Dhanush in these clips, we started thinking, well, why are we just looking at him as a reference? Why don't we actually ask him if he wants to be in the movie? And to our great surprise and pleasure, he did. So we had a fantastic experience with him.
Dhanush, were there specific films of theirs that you were a fan of?
I mean, of course, Infinity War. I mean, and if you have kids at home, you will know the Russos, right?
Of course.
So my kids are all big fans. We've all gone to the theaters and watched such, the true meaning of larger than life
Right.
experience, and it's amazing to have had an opportunity to, work with them. It's great.
Yeah, sure.
Do we owe it to your children that you said yes to being in The Gray Man?
No, just owe it to yourselves.
To Anthony and Joe, when you go in to make a new action film, right after you make two of the biggest superhero films ever, how do you approach that, specifically the action? One would imagine that you've pretty much done everything that you've wanted to, done everything that you had in your mind. How do you approach a new action film when you get off those films?
Well, this movie was an incredible opportunity for us because, look, we've been working in the realm of fantasy and science fiction with the Marvel films, and there's different rules to how those universes work, and I mean, look, that's part of the great fun of making those movies is you're dealing with a fantasy realm. I mean, the challenge for us on this movie was going from those movies where like so much was possible. You can go to outer space, you can go to other dimensions. All of a sudden now we're dealing with something that more resembles our actual real world. And of course, even though the story is a heightened story, it still tries to behave according to the laws of physics. And sort of in a way that's recognizable to us as something sort of plausibly real in our world. So having to deal with those different rules, those are limitations, but limitations are always like very good for creativity because it forces you to become inventive within the restrictions of the limitations. So that was the great thrill for Joe and I, was just to be able to deal with a different set of rules, a different world that we were building in this movie.
Right. Joe, did you want to add to that?
Yeah, I mean, I think no capes, no shields in this one, as Ann said. So, it's exciting to us to work with material that has a global scale to it, that allows us to bring in actors like Dhanush from around the world. We see storytelling as a binding element, something that brings people together, brings community together. So we like telling stories that bring as many people in together as possible, and that's a priority for us. We love genre. We think lots of people like genre. Sure. They like to watch it. It's propulsive, and this is a big, fun, spectacle genre movie.
Dhanush, the need to impress the kids aside, what sold you on doing this film?
I mean, I've told this before. It's the name. It's the Russos. It's the brand Russos, and the character when they describe me, Avik's son, and it's a very easy yes, right? It's a very no-brainer. You just have to use this opportunity that was gifted to you and then make the most of it.
Sure. Gentlemen, what was it specifically about this story? You explained the challenge and the opportunity about sort of now working in a universe where there are rules and a new set of rules, if you like. What was it specifically about Mark Greaney's book that appealed to you? And also, didn't it take about 9 years to develop?
Yeah, we first read the book while we were working on Captain America: Winter Soldier. We were looking at it as a potential follow-up to that movie. We didn't know we were going to make 3 more Marvel films, so it took a little while for us to get back to The Gray Man. We loved the book because it was so energetic, it was fun, it was very modern. We loved the lead character. We liked this idea of, the world's assassins hunting him down. Again, it gives you an excuse for sort of a global cast. It just screamed to be converted to a movie from the page. So we were, we also liked that it felt very modern. It had very modern thematics in it. At the end of the day, it's a parable about 2 characters that Ryan Gosling's character and Chris Evans' character that are different sides of the same coin. And one leans towards humanity and one leans away from humanity. And it seems to be a very common theme that we're all struggling with around the world right now. Do we lean towards community and humanity, or do we lean away from it and towards individualism and self-preservation?
Did you want to add to that?
No.
Okay. Given that this is a spy film, there will be, and I know that there have been the obvious comparisons to Bond and Bourne, but what were your own specific sort of influences, if you like, inspirations for this one? Tonally, visually?
Yeah, a lot of films from the 80s that we loved. Anthony and I are film fans. We grew up loving movies. And, the motivation for us to make movies is to try to convey to audiences the feelings that we had in theaters when we watched movies growing up. So Die Hard, Lethal Weapon, films that had a sense of humor, didn't take themselves too seriously, but delivered on the spectacle and the action, had real stakes, but were a lot of fun to watch. And that's really what was the inspiration for The Gray Man.
Yeah. I would say, characters you can root for, characters you sort of can find an empathy for and identify with and sort of feel their jeopardy,
Sure. It's not the first time that you've worked with Netflix. Of course, you produced Extraction. What does that relationship look like today? And how does Netflix support your sort of creative and artistic vision?
Yeah. I mean, Netflix is a very bold company. They function more like a tech company than a studio. Studios can be very fearful, have a very sort of traditional conservative element to them that sometimes they're supportive of the artist, sometimes they're not. Depends who's running it. The consistency of leadership at Netflix has made it a unique place to work because they're extremely supportive of the artist and they absolutely stay out of your way. Let you make the movie that you want to make, and then once you deliver it, then they figure out how it works for their, where to put it on their platform. We love that. I mean, we love the fact that as artists that we have incredible freedom. And they also like to take risks. This is a big gamble for them. It's an expensive movie, unique kind of film for them. But like with Extraction, I think that, their audience is a global audience, and global audiences really like action movies.
Right.
It's sort of the universal language. And so I think this is a great marriage because Anthony and I also love action movies. So I think working with them is very complimentary for them and us.
Sure.
Yeah. I will also say the thing with Netflix that we really appreciate is their global reach and their global sort of approach to audience building. It was very important for Joe and I to come here to India, and they were very supportive of that, and they have an amazing operation here in India. So we're very grateful to be able to collaborate with them here.
Dhanush, your character in The Grey Man, the lone wolf, is this mysterious sort of figure who comes in from the cold. There's not a lot that we know about him, except that he's very good at his job. Was there a backstory that you worked on? Was there some sort of blueprint, for you to understand and to get into his head?
Yes, the Russos gave me a kind of backstory about what he can be, where he can be from, how he could be. So that was very helpful. Then I remember telling him that this itself is a story. This itself is a film. We have a film there. So it was very interesting. I'm not going to tell you
Share that?
or share that because
Well, we gave you the backstory. We gave him was that he's sexy, and he's from Tamil. So that's,
No, but I would say that's part of the fun is that, the three of us may have done more work on the character than you can sort of know in the film.
Sure.
But we hope that we get to tell more story with this character, and we like to keep our options open in terms of where we can go with the character.
And therefore not give away too much too soon. Sure. Dhanush, did it feel close to any character that you've played already? Because, as you know, he's a veteran who's made several movies. Did the Lone Wolf feel similar to anything that you've done before?
no.
Interesting.
Definitely not. It was that's one of the many things that really excited me about this. I've never done anything like this before. The stunt training the character required was absolutely justified to play one of the top assassins from the world, and so it was a very new thing for me to do, a new territory to explore, and that was really exciting.
Right. To all of you, the thing about Dhanush's character, and I think what makes the Lone Wolf this interesting sort of figure is that, of course, he's this assassin, he's ruthless, he's really good at what he does, but he's also got this code of ethics. He is, if you like, a hitman with morals. I read somewhere that wasn't necessarily how it was written originally.
yeah, it was a conversation that we had. I mean, I think everyone in the book was a little bit more ruthless. And in converting it to the screen, like Ann said, you want characters that you can root for. And we also like a world where not everybody's all good, not everybody's all bad. That's why it's called the Gray Man. Everyone operates in this gray area.
To the tramp pursuit, if you like. What goes into planning and executing a sequence of that magnitude and impact?
Oh, a lot of work.
Many months. I mean, that sequence, that sequence is so large. The energy it takes on as we develop it, it almost feels like it's its own movie as we're prepping it. within the movie. But yeah, we spent a long time, again, like we were describing earlier with when we were sort of started really looking at Dhanush's work, we spent a lot of time researching and thinking about where we can take the movie, what we can do, how we can explore the characters that we're thinking about, and that sort of creative phase kind of eventually starts to turn into exploring it through storyboarding, or sometimes we'll animate certain sequences of the film just to feel out how they're playing. We'll also get together with our stunt team and we'll stage certain sections of the action that we're thinking about, like in a gym, and we'll shoot it and we'll edit it together. So it's almost a process of us making the movie before we make the movie, because action is so hard to shoot and hard to execute. When you get there on set, the crew is massive. Sometimes you're using a location that includes like a major city square in a big busy city. You're asking for trams and all kinds of things. So you have to be highly organized by the time you get there. So we go through an exhaustive process of knowing how the sequence can work best and what the sequence should be before we get there.
How many days did it take to shoot? Is it true that you shut off the city square for a week?
That sequence from start to finish was 6 weeks. And a lot of revising, very intense work. The hospital scene, I think we probably shot that for a month. The fight in the hospital room and the sequence outside, because we kept revising that as well.
Dhanush, you have these two very thrilling fight sequences with Ryan Gosling and Ana de Armas' character. What were those like to shoot? How much prep went into those?
It was good fun. It was amazing to film those sequences. The stunt crew train you in such a way you are surprised, but you surprise yourself. I was very surprised how fast I could move. They prepare you so well. I got about a month and a half training, just training. They start from the very basics. How to move, how to stand, where your fist should be, your leg should be. They start from such basics, and I was thinking, like, I've done about 50 films, I've done so much stunts, I know all these things.
Right.
But then no, you don't. You're not ready for what's to come. They know it, of course. Right. So they prepare you step by step, take you step by step, and towards the end you feel like an actual pro. You need to be that good to, execute. Of course, you have amazing stunt team. They make you look so good, but it still takes so much preparation to look so good. So once I get there, once we started filming, it was really easy, and it was good fun to move so fast, and it felt really good.
Right. But a fight scene is really like a dance, if you like. It's like you said, entirely choreographed. But also, it looks great if your dancing partner is just as skilled. And what was Ryan Gosling like? What was Ana de Armas like to shoot with?
They both were really good. They both trained as hard, if not harder. They really gave it all. Meticulous preparation, meticulous training, and they were so good. Anna was really fast, really quick, and I still remember the first day I had to do a kick, and I had to raise my leg, and it would come to a point, and they were stretching my leg to make it easy for me, and then Anna just comes in boom, goes like this, and I was like, what? She was so good. And Ryan was so into his character. He'll try to make the stunt choreography suit his character and take it in and make it the gray man.
Right.
It's amazing. I learned so much from both these wonderful actors, and it was a great experience.
Sure. Anthony and Joe, one of the themes of this film that I thought was very interesting was, the question of who can you trust? Can you trust the establishment? Can you trust the system? And I feel like those are themes that are especially relevant anywhere in the world today. Why were those themes that were important, or why were those questions that were important to ask and address?
Yeah. Well, we have, Anthony and I like to infuse our films, even the big entertaining ones, with some level of connectivity to what's going on in the world today. because we have anxieties about where the world is at the moment, and you know, you can go into the and watch this movie and come away with just the fun and the spectacle of it.
Yeah.
But you could also come away with a little bit more if you want it, which is a movie that sort of questions government systems and corruption and you know, like I said, a belief in humanity versus a belief in a system, right? Because systems are corruptible.
Right.
And so at the end of the day, you know, Ryan's character spends most of the movie rejecting corrupt patriarchies. His father was a corrupt patriarch. The CIA is a corrupt patriarch. And he's doing all of that in order to save the most innocent person in the movie, which is, you know, Claire, played by Julia Butters. So that's really us in a lot of ways. And it's not dissimilar to the work we did on the Avengers movies or the Captain America movies that all sort of exist in this, you know, space of, you know, can you trust, can you implicitly trust bureaucracy?
Yeah. And I mean, look, it's always, you know, it gets even more sensitive, you know, in terms of can you trust bureaucracy when you're dealing with a spy agency like the CIA. I think we always have anxieties. We all have anxieties about, well, what do we know and what do we not know, and who is doing what. And, you know, these institutions, at the end of the day, they're only as good as the people who sort of make them up.
Right.
You know, so the people who, it really falls on those individuals to either be, you know, to be accountable for the actions they do, and in a way that's defensible, or to hide and lie and, you know, not be honest about what the actions are. You know, and it's you sort of see those two camps within the CIA and the movie, and that's, I think we're dealing with that conflict in many aspects of government around the world.
And it's really themes like that that sort of ground the film in something more than just, in something sort of deeper and more than being just an action film, I suppose.
Yeah, that's the intention, right? Is just to give it a little bit more shape and dimension.
Yeah.
And, you know, we'd like to make robust experiences. So you take from the movie what you want. You know, if you want to take the thematics from it, great. If you don't, just go enjoy yourself and laugh and be thrilled by the action of the movie.
Yeah, but I think we've always most enjoyed theater experiences when you can go and, you know, a movie gives you like the whole range of human experience, right? It can make you laugh, cry, it makes you think, you know, it can scare you, provoke you. You know, we try to give it more of a well-rounded experience.
Right. Speaking of laugh, I was surprised by just how funny it is and how it can be. Just the throwaway sort of lines are sort of nicely tucked in. You, of course, wrote and produced Extraction, which a bulk of which was shot in India and with some very fine Indian actors in it. Do you see yourself working more in India, whether shooting in India, but also perhaps working with more Indian actors?
Absolutely. We love it here. We love the vibrant film community here. There's so much talent in India. The fan base is so passionate. You know, we'd love to find as many projects as possible with Indian talent, producers, directors, actors. It's exciting to us.
We look forward. Dhanush, I have to end my bit by asking you, at the Los Angeles premiere, your boys were with you, your two boys, your two sons were with you. What was that like? What did they think of the film? Did it make you the coolest dad in the world for that weekend? Who were they most excited to see?
I'm the coolest dad in the world all weekends.
Okay.
He's the coolest guy in the world.
They loved the film. They loved the film. They were very excited. And, you know, they were really chill. I mean, they were so cool, and it really surprised me because I was so nervous. I'm very comfortable in front of the camera, but I'm very uncomfortable doing everything else. So, you know, like this, or red carpets, or I have stage fright, and I was like all like, thinking like, oh, everything should go well. And these guys were like cool, playing some games on their phones. They were so chill, so cool. They loved the whole experience, and it meant the world to me that they were there. You know, there's a first for everything, and this was my first. You know, this is Hollywood as big as it can get, and this is
Right.
my first time walking the red carpet there, and it meant the world to me that my sons were next to me and they were there.
Oh, lovely. Well, thank you. Thank you so much. That's all from me, but I know that we have plenty questions from the room here. Of course, The Grey Man begins streaming on Netflix tomorrow from the 22nd of July, but I know there are questions from the room. The press here has questions. Lady there.
Hi guys, this is Monica from Bollywood Hangama. Nice to meet you. We met a couple of weeks ago virtually as well, Joe, and I had seen you during Infinity War. So nice to see you again in India.
Good to see you.
First and foremost, congratulations on the movie. What I do want to ask that it's been 10 years in the making. This project has been in the making for 10 years, and it's been one of the ambitious projects of Russo brothers. So what has been your takeaway as filmmakers? Has it been like too big that you did not imagine it will become this big? And as filmmakers, is it something, a learning experience that you take it forward? And for Dhanush, there's been massive support for you throughout the country and abroad as well. The fact that you are in this project, how are you taking this, and what's been your experience like working here?
I mean, for us, look, we love ambitious movies. We grew up on them. And we love the scale of this, but I think it's also an origin story, so we probably took it a little easy. I think if we do A Gray Man 2, it'll be even bigger than this.
The love and support from all around was very overwhelming. I was very touched and humbled, and I was very happy to see it. It was very, very well received, and I read so many nice things about Avik San. It is everything that an actor could ask for, unconditional love and support from the audience, and a good critical acclaim. So it's amazing to be a part of this entire journey.
I will say this to your question. The time we've been developing this, we've been shooting a lot of other movies that have action, and we've been developing more of a team that we work with, collaborators that we work with, who allow us to be able to achieve these things. So it's funny, like over time, our team just gets better and better and stronger and more experienced. So I feel like we become capable of doing more and more over time. So it's exciting to think where we can all go next with The Gray Man. Thank you.
The lady there, yeah.
Hi, this is Karishma from Pink Villa. I have more of a unserious question. One of the funniest lines in the film was the Ken doll reference, which Chris Evans makes for Ryan Gosling. So was that an impromptu thing? Did you all know that he was in Barbie and you all added that? What's the story behind that particular line?
We like to think that we manifested Ryan Gosling playing Ken in the Barbie movie.
I mean, for as bizarre as it sounds, yeah, that was before anyone knew anything about the Barbie movie, us or Ryan or anybody.
I think we could tell that Ryan had a lot of Kenergy, and that he was ready for a Kenaissance. So.
Lovely. All the way here.
Hi everyone, I'm Renuka Vyavahari from Bombay Times. Hi Rajiv. Hi Joe, Anthony and Dhanush. It was lovely seeing the film last night. I have two questions for Joe and Anthony. One was Avengers movies, okay? Everything is about no collateral damage. Like you cannot harm an innocent soul. Was it liberating for you guys to kind of let go of that and just go all the way? Like let's just destroy as much as possible, because now that we do not have those restrictions. And answer this and then I'll ask you the next question as well.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, look, you always want to make sure that like the storytelling is very thorough, right? So you want to think about not just your lead characters, but everybody in a movie. So I think on one level, when we were making the Marvel movies, we actually appreciated the approach to collateral damage. There's something. It keeps you sort of balanced. It keeps you grounded in some sort of respect for not just your lead characters, but any element of the storytelling, which is good. But yes, this is a little more of a, I mean, the movie is a little bit more of a maybe mature sensibilities, The Gray Man, than the Marvel movies. Maybe more adults. And because of that, it can get a little harder in terms of what the world is and how harsh the world can actually be. But at the same time, we're trying to create a balanced movie that is also entertaining. So we still want to keep ourselves balanced on that level, even in The Gray Man.
And my second for Joe, I think, is the whole thing about, I think Karishma addressed this question, but Chris Evans' character, I think it was something else, because Chris Evans in white tight pants and a mustache, and him talking about sexy Tamil friend, and referring to Ryan Gosling as cute, cupcake, pumpkin. I think you guys had absolute fun making that character, isn't it?
We did, and I think Chris had a lot of fun with it. I mean, he's supposed to be, this flamboyant sociopath who is the opposite of the Gray Man. He likes to he likes to draw attention to himself when he walks into a room. He's a chaos maker. He doesn't like to think things through. He operates on instinct. He's very violent, and he doesn't care who's standing in his way. And I think that's what Dhanush's character realizes near the end of the film, is that he's gotten, he's working for, a complete madman, and especially when he starts talking about killing a small girl. So, the character is meant to be reminiscent of some extremist philosophies that are populating the world today. The haircut, the mustache, there's a bit of toxic masculinity in the character, and Chris, really understood the assignment and really wanted to embrace this idea of playing this really mean-spirited asshole.
Hi. Hello, hi. This is Bhavna from India Today. Welcome, firstly, and really enjoyed the film, and I know that everyone here is going to enjoy it as much. My question first is to Dhanush. In an interview with Ryan Gosling recently with India Today, he mentioned that he really enjoyed working with you, and he would like to work in a film with you where you two are not fighting. So I want to know, how do you respond to that? And my next question is to both of you, and he also mentioned that he would perhaps talk to both of you, Anthony and Joe, to produce a film with Dhanush and him where they're not fighting and are perhaps in a different setting altogether. How do you respond? Are you up for it?
It would be great to work with Ryan again. He's a fantastic human being. He's very kind, very sweet, very welcoming, and he kind of made me feel very, very comfortable on sets. And we have amazing mutual respect for each other, and it'll be really, really great to work with him, regardless whether we are fighting or not fighting with each other. But it'll be great to work with him again.
Thank you.
Hi, maybe a road movie where they have to travel across India. I'm just coming up with it. I don't have the plot yet, but
I think Netflix should just tap on that idea right away. But thank you so much.
a comedy.
Thank you.
Hi, Dhanush. This is Sonal from News 18. There's always been a debate about Bollywood and South cinema, and you've also kind of time and again mentioned that you're always referred in articles as South Indian actor, rather you should be referred as an Indian actor. Was it necessary for your character to be referred as a sexy Tamil friend or a Tamil friend, getting into it? And because it had a name like Avik Sen or Lone Wolf. So
It's not absolutely necessary, but there's nothing wrong in it. There is it's like more details. The more the details, the better. Joe Russo told me, the more the flavor, the better. So we were just trying to add a little more flavor, and I don't think there's any harm in, saying he's a Tamil guy from India. So it's absolutely fine. But yes, I do, I have some, I would appreciate if they collectively call us as Indian actors rather than South actors, North actors. The world has shrunk, and the borders have, the lines are like, they're fading, and this is the time to, come together and make this one big industry. I mean, it is a huge industry, and it'll be really great if we function together and make movies for everybody, not just South audience or North audience. It is not regional film, it's a national film, not regional films. Every film is a national film. People watch South films, we watch North films, like every film is for everybody. Especially with the digital platforms, now everybody has easy access to watch everybody's work. Talents are easily seen. People can, like, this is a great time to be an actor as well. If you do a good job, if you do your job right, you are noticed by everybody. So it's just great. It just doesn't make sense even now at these times to mention me or anybody as South actor. We're just actors from India, Indian actors.
Wise words to end with. I'm told that's all the time we have. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, Anthony. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Dhanush. Thank you, everyone, for being an incredible audience. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll do pictures now. Thank you, gentlemen. We'll do some.
Thank you. I just want to say I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I was doing this the whole time, but Amir Khan was very gracious to host us for dinner last night, and when we were leaving, he gave me, what was it called? How do I say?
Pan.
Pan. So I have beetle leaf stuck in my teeth.
Something to take back with you.
Yeah, it's still stuck in there.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you.
Thank you all.